Hello, assalamu alaikum, good morning, khush amdeed. Ji ayanu, goeiemorgen, ishpata.
Gianu, Pocheragale, Ni Hao, Junashumbe, Washmale, Ohio, Gonzaimes, Guten Morgen, Ola, Boyor, Privyet, Kaifahal, Halishumachatore, Ahlan Wasalan, Marhaba, Buna, Mucho, Gracias, Swabia, Bali Kereaya. And thank you very much, everybody, for tuning into PTV World. You're definitely watching World this morning. Alongside the very fantastic, the very stunning, the very amazing, the very hardworking, the very passionate, the very dedicated, Shazad Khan, and the very amazing Shiza Hashmi. Hello, Shiza. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, thank you so much for asking, and I'm happy you introduced yourself because I know you get the opening line and we always miss out on your introduction. So thank you for doing that on behalf of me.
Thank you very much.
And I stand by all those words.
All right, thank you very much. Thank you very much for saying that, and I think that's the kind of true support any co-host or any co-worker can actually extend to you, ladies and gentlemen, which is why we always make sure to kind of compliment each other only when we mean it, because otherwise, anybody would know, the moment it is somebody who's actually going to flatter you with their words, you would know it before they even say a word as well. So yeah, please avoid that, because that can actually kind of interrupt in the process of you becoming a better person, rather than, they will take you back to where you were. So please do not fall for flattery. Always make sure that whenever you're receiving a compliment, say abundant thanks as well, to anybody who's actually given you a compliment. And not just that. Number two, analyze whether, you stand by that compliment or not. I think that this is something which you really need to look into. Today I'm wearing a high neck. I cannot really look into it as well. But other than that, I hope everybody's doing great. Today, I actually have a very important message, and that message is for Nani Ammi. Nani Ammi, Nani Ammi is here all the way from Netherlands. Shiza's Nani is here. And Shiza gave me a compliment early in the morning. She said that, my Nani Amma kind of likes you. So Nani Ammi, I like you too. I like all the nannies who are out there. And it's wonderful to have you over here in Pakistan. And I hope that your mother, Shiza's Ammi, your daughter and her daughter obviously over here, everybody's in love with your presence over here. We love it. And we would certainly want to have you on the show. So, if you accept my invitation, please make sure that you take our time. It will be wonderful to ask you about the childhood days of Shiza or her sisters, or Azaz for that matter.
The kind of revelations, oh my God, I'm really not looking forward to that. But isn't it lovely, Shazad, to be in the presence of your grandparents or Buzurg at all? I absolutely love sitting with people who have, well, of course, we say age is just a number, but in terms of experience, in terms of exposure, in terms of the things that they've seen, I love how they want to share the stories from their childhood, and to think about the mere human fact that your memory actually contains the best parts from 60 years back even. Isn't that exciting?
Exactly, but I think as soon as you're going to go back home, she's going to call you up and she'll be like, Buzurg hogi tum khud, main to nahi hu, So yes, Nani, I'm with you as well. But other than that, I think you've said it right. But I have a very important question to ask today. And this is something which I have felt. I don't know whether it's true or not, but let's see. Let's talk about it. So I think that nannies are actually more lovable towards their daughter's kids. They're not very lovable towards their son's kids, but nannies, for example, my mother, if I talk about her, I'm sorry, Ammi, if you're watching, but it's just an assumption. I'm not saying that I'm being honest today, but I think that my mom kind of loves my daughter's children more than my children, yeah.
Okay.
My sister's children, yes.
Being the grandchild, I will disagree with that. I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because, well, of course, Ammi loves me. And now I'm hoping Ammi is not watching the show. Of course, she's too kind. She loves me, but she loves all of us equally, right?
Really?
But I was my dadu's favorite, so
Really?
I cannot dismiss that at all.
Okay.
I mean, that is just an entirely different thing with them. Because in the developing years of my life, for the first 7 years or so, I was living with my Hoppo, Dadu and Chachu. They were bringing me up and all, right? So I think that bond is definitely different. But there, my mom might disagree. She might be like, oh no, your nani loves you more than your dadi.
All right, and there's a reason, because when I look at my father, I think he's more in love with my kids than my sister's kids as well. So if my sisters are out there watching today, guess what? Abu loves my kids more, and Ammi loves your kids more. I think it's a balance. But I think my mother will tend to disagree to it as well, because my youngest daughter, she kind of resembles me quite a lot, so she's most of the time in her lap. So I don't know, I'm a little confused. And since I'm a parent myself, ladies and gentlemen, I'll be honest today, a parent cannot love their children equally. I mean, obviously, whoever's in front of them, they will have a lot of love for them as well, but you will always have a favorite child. And it's because of the fact that they will have the same habits, which you do, and then they want to enjoy the same way which you do. For example, I love going outside. You know, one of my daughters, she loves to go outside as well with me. The other two daughters, they don't want to go outside. They want to stay back at home, paint, play with dolls. The other one wants to play cricket. So I think it makes her my favorite. Anyways, you know, so I don't know. I mean, imagine if one day, you know, my daughters are all grown up and they're watching this episode. I love you all equally. But the very moment when you're in front of me, I love you more than the other two, okay? So, you know, so whoever's in front of me, I love you more than the other two, okay? So I think that's it. It will sort it out.
I think that does happen naturally as well. So while this can get
so Dada Nani, you know, who loves you more?
Who loves me more?
Yeah.
Dadu used to love me more.
I think
Sorry,
Dada
Ammi,
loves
but mujhe lagta tha, bhai. I'm telling you. No, I'm kidding. You're so sweet as well. But yes, Shazad, don't you feel like with all these kind of positivity around you, the right kind of people around you, your brain definitely goes into a better place, and especially with us living in a pandemic, and now I feel like a pandemic re-rising with the Omicron, what is it called?
Yeah, Omicron.
Yeah, Omicron coming on as well. I feel like the mental state, the collective and the global mental state is declining so badly. Unfortunately, every other day I come across messages or posts on my Facebook where people are openly writing, I'm suicidal today. I really don't know how to manage my thoughts anymore. My head is clouded. Shazad?
I mean, there's a reason why I'm smiling or laughing, and that is that I've gone through that age as well, and you know,
And it's
you know,
sad.
ladies and gentlemen, boys, I mean, most of these messages are from boys, right?
And girls.
And
all
girls,
of them,
obviously. I mean,
actually.
girls, I mean, I have the due respect, obviously, but you know, at times, boys literally text other women to kind of get the attention, you know, by writing all of this as well. So I don't know.
I get it.
I think everybody needs to be kind of in their comfort zone while talking about this as well. But how can you talk about you, God forbid, whatever Shiza said, and that to a person who you have never actually have spoken to
Absolutely.
or spoken with?
But Shazad, we have to understand that is the state of mind they're in.
Yeah.
So for a person who is going through a bad phase of life, things don't make sense in the right way. What is right for you might not be right for them, and especially for their brain to comprehend कि ये ठीक है, ये गलत है. It's very natural. It's not that the person themselves, they're deciding कि, oh my God, today I pledge to do everything wrong, I will ruin the world. It doesn't happen that way. It's just naturally. So I really want to learn about, and I want to learn with my audiences out there, how we can sort of control our brain in a way that, well, we can manage things the way we want it
And
to.
before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, there are so many brilliant people out there that they've managed their brain in such a way that they're actually bringing a lot of good name to Pakistan as well, which is why we have an example over here which we want to start our show with. So please go ahead, take a look at this gentleman. And this gentleman, ladies and gentlemen, which you're looking right now, his name is Dr. Mubashir Hussain Rahmani. He has been named among the world's top 1% researchers in the field of computer science. This is his second consecutive year in the highly cited researcher list. Dr. Rahmani is a Pakistani researcher and an assistant lecturer at Munster Technological University. Rahmani's work focuses on wireless networks, blockchain, cognitive radio networks, and software-defined networks. He has written over 100 peer-reviewed articles, of which 12 were among the highly cited articles by Clarivative.
How amazing is that?
Yes.
Absolutely amazing. And you know, still speaking of how, you know, people are actually, some people are using their mind rightly as well. I think, I can't say it was ever a dream, but it was sort of a fantasy to land in the Antarctica.
Yeah.
Did you ever feel like going there or seeing it? Well, in all honesty, in my childhood, because
I don't wanna go there.
because of the movies we used to watch, and you know, Monster Inc., there was a Yeti coming in from Himalayas, whatnot, and I was like, you know what, Himalayas is just here in Pakistan. I want to go to the North and South Pole and maybe look for something. And now, can you guys believe this is the first time ever that safely an airplane has landed in the Antarctica?
Wow.
And it is going to carry passengers soon as well. I mean, how amazing is that? Definitely.
I'm still
So
not
for
taking a
some
flight
people-
to Antarctica, yes.
I mean, when it's safer, we might.
It took mankind so many years to kind of land a plane over there. Imagine how people might feel once they actually land over there, and how
But it
cold
must
it's going
be
to.
so
And
much
listen,
fun.
and imagine that, you know, within the cockpit, the pilots are actually wearing half sleeves as well. They've certainly no idea where they're going. Well, you know, obviously they might have, and they might have their jackets with the cabin crew as well.
But does it bother you that it's going to get all
I
commercial
mean,
and
imagine you don't
touristy?
know which road to go to. Everything's covered with snow. How can even Google Maps help
I
over
think
there?
it's for the adventure seekers out there
Obviously,
as well. While
obviously.
some people are now planning to in a few years, of course, spend their vacation on Mars, so the leftovers might go to Antarctica for that matter.
But it is indeed a great achievement. Wow, let's come back from Antarctica, ladies and gentlemen, and I will take you to space.
Oh.
Yes, because we have another good news coming in.
The
Well, it's
final frontier.
certainly not a good news, but ladies and gentlemen, NASA obviously, make sure that, that the world or this planet is a safe place. There are a lot of asteroids, meteorites out there in the outer space as well. And we really need to keep our planet safe. NASA has actually launched, this is something which you really need to listen to carefully. NASA partnered with SpaceX to launch DART, double asteroid redirection test aboard a Falcon 9 rocket. Its departure from Earth went off without a hitch. The spacecraft's target is a binary asteroid system consisting of Dimorphos, the target, and 65,803 Didymos, the larger asteroid around which Dimorphos orbits. These objects cross Earth's orbit, making them potentially hazardous in the future. NASA will analyze the orbit of Dimorphos before and after the impact to see how it was affected. Wow, that's too much science early in the morning.
Too much, man. I mean, for a person like me, my mind is completely blocked right now. So I want an expert to tell me how to put my mind in place. Or sort of, what we were talking about actually. Just generally, when you think about a clouded mind, there are ways you can control that. A lot of people keep telling me, and then my therapist, which now I have left, by the way, we'll come to that later as well, sort of used to keep telling me that every day if you reiterate and repeat to yourself, even if you don't feel like it, I'm going to have a great day, I'm going to have a great day.
You will.
My brain is going to rewire that way. Even if I don't feel like it, the brain will start believing that, and maybe I will have a good day.
Exactly.
So, I mean, things are so simple, but are they really that simple?
Yes, they are, and I totally agree to it because this is something which I tell myself every single day when I wake up. Hey, Shazad, you're going to have a great day, Alhamdulillah. And no matter, because ladies and gentlemen, the highs and lows will always be there. But I think what you need to do is that you need to prepare yourself for whatever comes to you in life. And, there will be opportunities, there will be setbacks, but how you kind of understand them within this amazing marvel creation of Allah Almighty, I think things will definitely work out. Because there's one more thing, and that sentiment is that, if you just kind of linger on to that string, which is whichever string you are attached to, inshallah, there will be days when you will obviously overcome all of those challenges, which is why the topic is very interesting. And it was suggested by one of my most favorite professors from my university. I've been to a university as well. So he said that let's talk about, how brain stimulation can actually improve our ability for multitasking, and then for all of the interruptions which we have in between. That okay, should we do it? Should we not do it?
It's
would
so
I be able to do it or not? So things like that. I think it's mind science, ladies and gentlemen.
I think the first question should be, is it a reality?
All right, let's talk about this. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by one of the most amazing professors I've had in my university. Not just in my university, I think all over Islamabad and Rawalpindi, everybody knows him. He's a star, he's a celebrity himself, and he always makes sense. And he teaches in a way where you really do not have to go back, open the book and learn. Right now, you will actually have all the answers to all the questions you have. He is the Honorable Sir Asif Rasool. Hello, sir. Assalamu alaikum. Good morning.
Walaikum assalam. Thank you very much for having me on.
Thank you very much, sir.
Always
It's
a
wonderful
pleasure.
to have you over here. And, this topic, it was wonderful the moment I read it. So, imagine that we were talking about how brain stimulation can actually help you in multitasking and avoiding all the interruptions. First things first, sir, how do you do it yourself?
Okay,
Or is
I'll
it
just
possible?
start off with this interruption in life. And this is in wake of this 21st century. Because we have seen in all previous eras, not the era before us, we can understand, for example, man as hunter, man as farmer, man as we have got like era of machines, and now man in the era of technology.
Yeah.
So in every era, they were like, everybody wanted to achieve the highest things, okay, and they came up with different obstacle issues and problem. And now once again in 21st century, we are, and every day what happens is that you receive a stream of unending emails, text, and you have got to respond. So by responding to them, it costs you something. Now when you just add it to it costs us too much. Why? Because it's going to divert your attention. You're doing something with a great flow, and it has broken that flow. So it's going to affect your efficiency, it's going to affect your productivity, and it's going to not get into you involved in this deep kind of work. So basically it's about deep work when you are just focusing on one thing at one time, and this is really going to make you very productive, and we can just start off with this like.
I think that's wonderful. The idea is great as well. Thank you very much for mentioning deep work as well, because certainly whenever you're working with all your heart, you're giving it 100% and you're getting ready, you're getting prepared, you're reading all the articles you need to read. it is deep work. This is what I consider deep work, that, you've given it all of what it required. But what happens is, sir, that, obviously these days with inflation so high, and obviously we need to talk about that and how the livelihood of the people is. What I believe is that, with only one job or with only one source of work, you cannot actually run a good household. When, at least in Pakistan, we need to be very honest with it. And people are becoming masters of all trade rather than jacks of all trades as well, because they know that the survival is not there.
Absolutely.
Now, this is something which I encountered myself, and that was that, imagine that I have a stretch of a day where in winters the days are smaller and I have to do 3 shows. Now, imagine that on Wednesday, I guess it was on Friday that I actually had to go and host 3 shows, Shiza. So on Wednesday, all of a sudden I had this, I'm not going to call it panic, but it was a mild sort of a panic as well, that, Shazad, would you be able to do that? Because it's greater responsibility you have committed with people, and their show cannot be left unattended because they're looking forward to you. You are the host of the show. So you have to reach, there's traffic, there's so many things, and then you have to prepare for each show individually because all 3 of them are on different subjects. So on Wednesday, I take a back seat and I'm like, would you be able to do that? And then all of a sudden, I think it was the God's voice inside my heart and said that, you always wanted it. I think this is your time to go and, just do it.
True.
And so all of a sudden, then on Thursday, I started to think, okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm going to think about one event at a time. Whichever event I'm going to, I will focus on that. And then as soon as I'm going to go on to the other, I think I'll start to do that. So I think that helped me. But do you think that, in longer run, this can happen because you're overworked, you're tired, and there's so much stuff that you need to catch up on, then there's family, then there are complaints, then there's interruption in between alongside deep work. So how do you think anybody and everybody who's got a very tiring day schedule can manage to do that?
Well, it's a very good question. Did this call Newman? He's one of the researchers, and he has done a lot of work on this, and he has just ran many experiments as well. He just shared like in one experiment, they just take the subject to 2 different labs, Group A and Group B. So when Group B A is involved in highly deep kind of work, so intentionally the researcher interrupts.
Okay.
So what happens is that during this, they are cognitively very hard task. So the moment they just get back to that, their speed is very slow, and it has really affected them.
Yeah.
Now, in your case, like, this is not going to be a regular phenomenon for the whole month.
I want it to be a regular phenomenon.
Inshallah, it will be
Inshallah.
definitely the way you are spreading your wings, and we all are happy to see it.
Exactly.
But I can just tell you, like, we can make this experiment right now. For example, right now, after this show, you have got to meet 3 people, and the 3 are in wait. So if your brain is not going to decide right now, you have got to just
Which one to
see
meet
one
first?
person. If there is no clarity, it's really going to affect you, and this will remain. It's going to affect you mentally.
Clarity,
You won't enjoy it. So the moment, Shazad, you are going to say like one signal, hello, only this one.
Yeah.
Believe me, the moment you just give signal to your brain, the other 2 side, whatever the problem issues they are having, they are sidelined, and now you're going to stay focused.
True.
This is like one of the
So
aspects.
clarity is important.
It's very important.
I think that's wonderful. So now when you do have clarity, but then there are challenges when, obviously you said that the researcher in between kind of spoke up as well. And when you are in deep work, you really need that space to yourself. And then all of a sudden you're moving from one place to another. There are 10 people waiting for you already. Oh, where is he? Where is he? And then when you go to that particular venue or place, you're like, you know what? Inside your heart, you're like, I need 10 minutes to myself first, so that I manage whatever I want to do in my head, and then I will attend you guys, But they just do not kind of leave the area where you are.
It's often why I'm late. I sit in the car for 10 minutes. I need my space and time, but yes, go on.
Do you think it's important, having your own space?
Okay. Well, let's separate these 2 things.
Yeah.
One is this one portion where you just take time for yourself.
Yeah.
And second one is your deep work. For example, right now it's a deep work.
True.
You have got to stay very alert, highly focused.
I know what sir is saying. Yeah, I need to know.
Exactly. So this is like, when you ask this with this kind of forceful, I forget things. This is so natural. Okay, all right. So basically, when you're involved in this kind of work, this researcher, he has just told us very nice thing that all creative people in the world, he has just seen the pattern. They remain in this kind of deep work. For example, J.K. Rowling, Carl Jung, one of the psychologists, and many other people. Yeah. So J.K. Rowling, whenever she went for top kind of like novels, whenever she faced a difficulty, she rented one house at a very nice place where she could get this same kind of writing.
Exactly.
And over there, she would spend a little, and that's her deep time. Now, apart from it, like when you're traveling, when you're meeting, that is something different. But during this time period, there shouldn't be any kind of interruption, because this is something very important for your life. So this is like one of the aspects when we have got to go for this deep work, we have got to avoid as much as possible these interruption when you are into arena and playing a genuine game.
No,
Like
but
it's like
yeah, go on, go on.
it's like, you know, all of us, we have seen that French bullfighting.
Yeah.
So when you are in the ring, and that is before you stay high alert. So there is this one novel as well, English novel. He said that The Sun Also Rises by Hemingway, one of my favorite novels.
Oh.
He said that one of the leading role in that novel, he said that when I'm inside the fight, my best friend, my girlfriend, Brett Ashley, she's sitting there. I damn care. I am so focused. I am so concentrated. Even if 100 Brett Ashleys are outside, they're not going to affect me. Deep work.
But that is the kind of
yeah.
focus I think we all need. But Asif Rasool, you spoke about J.K. Rowling, and we all know her process. We've read about a lot of people inspire from her process of working as well. But then we're talking about a millionaire who can afford a sort of a villa
But
to
she
work.
became a millionaire after that deep work.
No, I'm not questioning that. I'm just saying, I want you to, while of course that is a perfect example, I want you to consider and talk about people who have shifted to work from home ever since the pandemic started. And Pakistani home culture, you know what it is, right? There's no space, there's no concept of
Kids
space.
running in, going out. Yeah.
I know, ghantiyan baj rahi hain, phone aa rahi hain, and if you're not attending to someone, they mind. I mean, the entire concept of you sitting at home does not make them believe you're working. What do you do then?
It's
That's an
obviously
interruption.
all of us we are, and it's not only in Pakistan, Shizda. It's all over the world. For example, I listen to many podcasts, many newscasters as well, and they say that whenever we are in the middle of something, and then my children, they are playing music, and this is really going to affect us during this task as well.
Right.
It's like, I mean, now since house is a place, so we have got to properly divide it. That this is my time for the family, and then you have got to separate a place. It could be like one room. Whenever you go there for that short span of time, everybody should know that somebody is there.
Office
Younger
space.
children, they don't know about it, that whether she's there.
Sir, everybody would know, but your wife certainly wouldn't agree, and she'll be like, what are you doing all by yourself with a cell phone in your hand, So there are all sorts of interruptions. There are all sorts.
Credibility matters.
And there, obviously, it does matter.
I love it.
But in addition to that, sir, I think what we really need to kind of talk about is how do we stimulate the brain to achieve multitasking and avoid interruptions, because that's the main topic. So what would you recommend that, these kind of stimulations can actually help your brain to multitask and then avoid interruptions?
Okay, number one is highly structured work. There is this one David Block, he's one of the columnists, and he has just given a very nice quote that all creative people or people who are into deep work, they approach time like an accountant. The way accountants are going to mean. So all these creative people, through this highly structured work, they came up with the best highly unstructured their craftsmanship and all that, whatever they just brought into this. So one is that we have got to get ourselves highly organized. Then we have got currently the issues and problem right now we are facing. For example, I have seen my best friends as well at university level, even my students as well, people in different field. The moment they just get to the mobile, okay, so you just look at your text, but the page is open before you, so you feel like looking at Facebook as well, you feel like attending to other, and now you're complete. So you have got to organize yourself in such a way that when you are in your deep work, one is that do not try to get interrupted by this, like one of the, you should have a separate time. Even during this time, you have got to tell your brain that only one thing at one time. So during this time period, you've got to do one thing. Otherwise, whenever you get into the next task, get into the same mindset.
Exactly.
Then third task, you can do all these tasks, but not at the same time. You're attending calls as well, you're receiving texts, you're responding texts, and then you're busy. Why? Because for creativity, for development, we really need flow. We have seen in the case of all these top-notch players in the world, top-notch performer in the world, that there is a kind of flow. And a time comes when your sixth sense, it permeates.
Exactly.
And for that we need flow.
And you emerge, and this is certainly something which everybody wants in their life. And ladies and gentlemen, this is a life lesson please make sure that you understand. Which is why towards the end of this segment, sir, we actually have a report to play as well. I'm going to ask you a very simple question, because this is something which I go through every single day. So imagine that towards the end of the night, so we are always preparing, we're in the group, okay, this is going to happen tomorrow. And I think where you spoke about structured work, I really need to give credit to Jamshed Sahab, but Hasnan, Hamid, Zoha and Roha, our interns and researchers, everybody is doing a great job, which is why, we can actually perform this well on screen if you think that we are. Now imagine that every time I go to my gym, that's my happy place, okay? And I do not want any interference, because otherwise I cannot work out wonderfully well. Or when I am actually preparing for the show at night, because since it's on WhatsApp, so all of a sudden all those groups messages are coming in, and it only takes 1 second to click on one message and you are in another window, right? And all of that is gone. You have to come back. So that obviously I have to stay focused. But there are 2-3 gentlemen who would always make sure that they're going to call me while I'm at gym, all right? And I will tell them that I'm at my gym, and they think that as if gym is useless and that I should actually attend to them first. What is that? What is the solution you have for me to tell them? And then all of a sudden what I do is I pick it up, so things like that. And they think that it's just useless for you or for them, to kind of understand that, hey, you know what, he's working out. So what should we do?
Right. So people who don't take your work seriously.
It's a very nice thing. Even the researcher, Carl Newman, he has also addressed this, that there are always annoying people who are always there to disturb your work.
Yeah.
So he said that, the moment you're going to develop your daily rituals, so at one point people are going to realize that when Shehzad is in the gym, no way he's going to attend the call. When Shiza is during the show, no way she's going to respond to text. So a time comes when they get to know, and you've got to, I think you've got to communicate it to the people, like during this time, this is my high time, I've got to stay focused and I won't be able to, but after that.
So you have to be blunt, and
exactly.
you really do not have to be nice. If you can pull it in a nicer way, I think that's
key,
wonderful. Yeah, communication is the key.
Yeah, definitely. But thank you so much, Asif Rasool Saab, for again being so
wonderful,
enlightening and
wonderful,
informative.
wonderful.
Because in all honesty, we get to learn a lot. And I haven't been your student in the most formal way, but I think now I am. So I need an honorary degree now.
I just want to add one thing. For example, first chunk of your show, I was enjoying it so much. And I'm just thinking like how genuine you are. Because when genuinely you're going to communicate to your audience, the way you are going to. And second part was that self-disclosure, which you and Shehzad were genuinely sharing with the audience. And this is something amazing. I really enjoyed it.
Thank you very much, sir. Jazakallah. And we hope and pray that everybody out there, including Sir Asif Rasool in the first place, stays healthy and wealthy and kind of have this clarity and a structured framework where you're dedicated towards your work so that you can multitask as well and then avoid all the interruptions. With that, we're actually...
I usually untangle my mind with some very good music. So I think we have to head out to short break so I can listen to my favorite song. And then when we come back, we'll bring music for you as well.
Yeah, but before we do that, ladies and gentlemen, before we head out towards a short break, we actually have a small report.
We do, yes.
That's something I observed while I was deep working about the show.
Oh, that's
Let's
nice.
take a look at the report.
All right, let's do it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Magla Hills.
जाने क्यों दिल में उतर जाते हैं ऐसे लोग, ना जाने क्यों दिल में उतर जाते हैं ऐसे लोग, जिनकी बातें जिनकी यादें बन जाती है दिल का रोग, ना जाने क्यों दिल में उतर जाते हैं ऐसे लोग। सोचो तो सही, जानो तो सही, कैसा ये एहसास है। सोचो तो सही, जानो तो सही, कैसा ये एहसास है। कोई समझे ना कोई जाने ना कैसा ये अंदाज है, ना जाने क्यों दिल में उतर जाते हैं ऐसे लोग।
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, we're very lucky to have Mr. Umair Khan over here in the studios with us. ना जाने क्यों लोग उतर जाते हैं दिल में ऐसे लोग. Wow, I think that's just wonderful. The lyrics are fantastic, phenomenal.
Yes.
This gentleman is great. Hello, Umair. Assalamu alaikum. How are you?
I'm good, great. Thank you for inviting me here.
Thank
Such
you
a
very
brilliant
much.
song. It was absolutely catchy. We loved it, and I think you did see all of us were enjoying a lot.
Yeah.
So now I need to talk about it because I think this is the first time we're listening to it.
Yeah, I think this is the first time you
Okay,
guys
so
are listening.
first of all, the story behind it, because the lyrics are so sweet and natural and they just fall into place, right? So the story behind it, what inspired you, and this came out great. Is this what you were
Yeah.
expecting?
I'm glad you guys liked it.
No, it's really
It
nice.
is good. I mean,
Yeah,
we're
so
not
let
just
us know.
saying it for because of the fact that you're over here in the studios with us. Because we liked it, that's why we're
Really,
saying
really
it.
means a lot. I mean, this
So let
really
us
means
know
a-
what was the process.
It's just like that. I was just seeing, observing people and going, I mean, the bad relationships and all like that, and how people they treat you in it and all like that. So I go like, why don't I write this?
Yeah.
And then how they, ditch you and blah 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 like that. एक typical वो नहीं होता.
Yeah,
So I made it like that. कि ना जाने क्यों दिल में उतर जाते हैं
So,
ऐसे
so
लोग.
it's a sort of a sad love song, would you say?
No.
You can
It
say.
can be a happy song as well because only if you have somebody in your heart.
I'm asking you, is it or
Yeah.
is it not?
Yeah, let's see.
It can be anything. You can relate with everything because it's a line in it के सोचो तो सही जानो तो सही कैसा ये एहसास है and all
Yeah.
like that.
Right, right.
Exactly,
And
which
you
is
And the last verse was like अपना बना के सपने दिखा के तन्हा मुझे कर चले.
Oh my
something
God!
like
sad,
that.
you know?
I think
But the
I think half of it is happy because all of a
And then-
sudden you
yeah.
have somebody who's actually taken a place in your heart, and then you feel it, you want to feel it as well, and then gradually they have all these dreams built up with you as well. And all of a sudden you
That's
get to
how
know,
I
hey,
wrote
they're not around. So I think obviously it's sad, but I actually need to ask Umair over here because you were observing, right? And
Yeah.
which is why you wrote this song and the lyrics yourself. So there was obviously somebody
Yeah, it's
जिसने
it's
आपके
not
दिल में
only one
उतरा और
person.
फिर
It's like
उसके बाद वादे किए और फिर चले गया. Did that happen?
yeah, it actually it's a story. It happened with my friend.
All right.
So he was like sharing with me. I go like यार इसका गाना ही बना देते हैं.
Wow, that's wonderful. Yeah, you're doing a great job,
And
man.
that's I feel like that's what an artist is, right? To put art into the forms
A
of life,
song,
even in happiness, even in misery,
expression.
for that matter.
एक गाना जो भी बना रहे हैं उसके अंदर आपका एक मैसेज जरूर होना चाहिए.
Yeah.
You got the message.
Exactly.
and
So
you know
I
when
think
you
Stay
mission
away from love,
accomplished.
man. That's the message.
That's the message always.
Yeah.
No, but Umair, where you just a while ago you were saying that lyrics are out there as an art, of course, but it's on the listener as well of how they perceive it.
True.
And I feel like that is the beauty of music. Anyone can make their own perspective of it. So, for
Yeah.
example, I love Amir Zakib.
I love
in
Amir
love
Zaki.
with
Yeah.
Amir Zaki's work, right?
He's the legend.
And the amount of times we've listened to his songs is probably millions of times. And just yesterday I was listening to it again, and for the first time.
Which one was it?
Mera pyar tum
Tum
hi.
hi
Oh my
ho,
God.
tum hi
Right, so one of
That's
the
the
lines says.
signature song.
Yeah, one of the lines says, "Ye alfaz chun lena mere geeton se tum." And usually you just sing it, but yesterday it just made a different impact on me because I felt like he was a person who was not good at communicating with his partner.
Yeah.
And then
He
he,
wrote
was
the
like, you know
song
what?
for the-
yes,
for
yes,
his
I
wife,
know.
yeah.
And then he was like, you know what? I'm putting out the song for you, so please look for the words I'm putting out for you in this song. And it was so
And
beautiful.
I actually have a similar feeling with this song from Junaid Jamshed as well. जंगलों में अभी भी तुम्हारा और मेरा नाम लिखा हुआ है जाकर देख लो. You know, something like that. I think I still have that same feeling as well. But Umair,
so sweet.
you know, first of all, congratulations, you formed your own band now. You know,
Thank
you're not
you so
performing
much.
solo,
Yeah.
which I believe you've done a great job as well.
Thank
And
you.
you're obviously looking forward to more and more live shows. Alhamdulillah, post-pandemic, you know, things are opening up.
Yeah.
We want to wish you best of luck as well. But please tell us a little about your band. And it's a tricky question because these days the music is getting very different. You know, imagine for people like Shamoon Ismail, Manu, Tahaji, or Talal, you know, and all of these people, they're producing very different sort of music. The music you're doing is still something which we can relate with, but probably the future generations might not. So do you still want to continue with the band, or you want a DJ scratcher at the back eventually in days to come?
The new song I just made, you know, it's like I put like a little DJ thingy in it as well.
Alright.
And but I love to be live, you know. This is real music actually. You know, this is what I am not, you know, disrespecting other musician in it.
Wonderful.
I'm just like saying,
This is your style.
Yeah, this is my style. You need to have your own genre actually. So this is my genre, and I'm gonna carry this.
Wow, and we certainly want you to carry on.
I like old kind of music, you know.
So we will listen to that, obviously, ladies and gentlemen. But at this very moment, we're heading out towards a short break where Mr. Umair will stay honest and real with his music, ladies and gentlemen. He promises to do so. He's got a band, but once we are going to come back, we'll actually listen to one of his another original songs as well. Let's see what this song is all about. We're heading out towards a short break. Please don't go.
Stay tuned. Good morning.
All right, beautiful people, welcome back. We're still here. Obviously, we want to entertain you throughout the show as well. But over here in the studios with us today, we're very lucky that we've actually been joined by a very promising singer, musician. He happens to be Mr. Umair Khan. Earlier, he actually sang one of his originals. I guess it's about time that we listen to another one as well. All right, because we really are judgmental about his lyrics. Earlier, his lyrics were certainly about how people come and they stay in your heart forever, and then they make promises with you, and then they run away. And I hope this one's a little different. So let's see, Umair, what are you going to share with us now?
This is my original as well. It's not my poetry. It's Baba Bulle Shah's poetry.
Wonderful.
Oh, wow.
Can't judge it now.
And you can't judge it.
No, we'll judge your music still. No, I'm lying.
So and I mixed Baba Farid poetry in it.
MashaAllah.
So
Nice.
and I sang it earlier as well. So let's do it.
So let's go, let's hear it.
It's called Mitti Da Tu. I just name it like that. मिट्टी दा तू मिट्टी होना कादी बल्ले बल्ले मिट्टी दा तू मिट्टी होना कादी बल्ले बल्ले अजूते मिट्टी दे बंदिया कल मिट्टी दे थल्ले
Wow.
मिट्टी दा तू मिट्टी होना कादी बल्ले बल्ले अजूते मिट्टी दे बंदिया कल मिट्टी दे थल्ले. And he makes poetry in it, Baba Farid. वेख फरीदा मिट्टी खुली मिट्टी उत्ते मिट्टी डुली मिट्टी हसे मिट्टी रोवे मिट्टी दा तू मिट्टी होवे मिट्टी दा तू मिट्टी होना कादी बल्ले बल्ले अजूते मिट्टी दे बंदिया कल मिट्टी दे थल्ले.
Super.
And I think, obviously, this is a beautiful song you've made. You know, you mixed the poetry, which all absolutely makes sense as well. But have you released it so far?
I launched it on US Embassy's page.
Or you've released it, so where can people find it? Do you have any YouTube, Instagram?
It's
Please
not
make sure.
released properly.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm launching soon.
Because I was just thinking that, you know,
I launched the acoustic version.
because I was just thinking that as soon as I'll be driving back home, I'll be listening to this song as well. It's so surreal, it's mesmerizing.
I think he has a YouTube page.
Exactly.
yes,
so
I
do you
have
want to share all of your pages? Please go ahead.
Yeah, it's Umair Khan official YouTube page. And
UMAIRKHAN
yes.
official.
And Instagram is like Umair Khan official.
Wow, that's wonderful. You got lucky with that. Yeah.
People usually don't get that.
Exactly. Either it's 01 or 02 as well. But Umair,
I recently made YouTube, so there's no subscriber, and I want you all to subscribe.
yes, we
Yes,
will. I
people
think
would
I'll be the
love
first
to.
person to subscribe. In fact, I'll do it over here as of now as well. But Umair, very quickly, future plans.
यार future plan ये है कि बस अभी आजकल I'm working on my 2 new songs.
Yep.
And उनको बस launch करना है. And I'm gonna bug you in it.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Umair Khan official channel. Here it is, ladies and gentlemen.
Right, and with musicians, of course, I mean, we love asking the question, where do you see yourself in the coming years? When's the album coming? Are you going to be a part of a music show or something? But I think while those are very generic questions, I want to ask you, which Shahzad already did, and it's an extension. Would you go commercial, even if you stick to your genre? Would you go commercial just for the sake of, you know, selling it to the audience?
I would love to. If I get a right platform, I would love to.
Thank you very much for saying that, because this is something which actually kind of stops a lot of musicians and artists to not, you know, reach out to a lot of
I actually made a little
people.
commercial
That's
song.
true.
So it's like in a pipeline as well.
Ah,
Wow.
that's
So
nice.
yeah, let's see. Waiting for a right phone call and right platform.
Inshallah, you will
To
always be
invite
getting
me. So
you will
yeah.
always be getting the right phone calls as well, because you got a phone call from us, and inshallah you will be getting a lot of phone calls
Thank
from
you.
other people as well.
Right.
And this platform, once again, you know, me and Shizar, we have been saying it over and over again, is for everybody who thinks that their talent needs to be seen by the world as well. Umair Khan, ladies and gentlemen, is an exception. Wonderful emerging artist as well, and he's working hard day in, day out. I think all he needs is our love and support, and we are always here to do that. And for all of our followers, for all of our cult out there, we want you to kind of follow him on his Instagram and YouTube as well. Please make sure that you support local talent. Thank you very much, Umair, for being with us. It's always a good gesture from you that whenever I've called you, you've never declined, and you're always like, Shahzad bhai, I'll be there. So thank you very much for
My
that.
pleasure. It's pleasure to be with you.
Thank you very much once again. And for everybody who's out there, ladies and gentlemen, please make sure that you write to us on our Facebook page, which is with the name of
Well, this morning.
On Twitter.
Well, this morning.
on Dailymotion and YouTube.
Well, this morning.
And the fabulous repeat is going to be at
5 past midnight.
till the next time. Look after yourselves. 1, 2, 3. Let's say it together. Good morning.
Stay safe.